Guys, I hate gestures. Okay? And the Democrats love gestures. That's why, they love the kneeling, they love the fist in the air, they love the symbolism. They love all that stuff that really actually does nothing. Okay? I'm all about that action, boss. Right? I think Marshawn Lynch said that, but I'm all about action. Okay? President Trump was about action. Okay? He worked with Tim Scott, who happens to be a black senator from South Carolina, in order to set up economic opportunity zones. He extended HBCU funding. He signed the First Step Act in terms of working on criminal justice reform. He has pardoned numerous nonviolent drug offenders. Those are actual actions and steps in the right direction. And also, let's not forget that President Trump had the so-called platinum plan on the table as well, in terms of his plan to help the black community. Now, me personally, I believe that President Trump's platinum plan would have helped everybody out. And I think it really was more of an infrastructure bill that, could give a leg up to minority companies rather than a straight up plan for black America. But regardless, I think it would have been beneficial for everybody. And I would have loved to have seen the president actually pass something on infrastructure. But alas, here we are. We have Joe Biden, who's one of his first tasks as president is to continue to give more gestures, as Biden's Treasury will seek to put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, an effort the Trump administration halted. President Biden's Treasury Department is studying ways to speed up the process of adding Harriet Tubman's portrait to the front of the $20 bill after the Trump administration followed the Obama-era initiatives to lapse. Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, said on Monday. The decision to have Ms. Tubman replace Andrew Jackson as the face of the $20 note was set to motion in 2016 by the Treasury Secretary at the time, Jacob Lew. President Donald Trump opposed the idea, and his Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin stopped work on that part of the currency redesign, arguing that adding new security features to the money was more urgent priority. Mr. Mnuchin said the notes with new imagery could not be put into circulation until 2028, and that a future Treasury Secretary would make the call whether to replace Andrew Jackson. The Treasury Department, which Mr. Biden has nominated Janet L. Yellen to lead, plans to accelerate that timeline. Quote, the Treasury Department is taking steps to resume efforts to put Harriet Tubman on the front of the new $20 notes, Ms. Psaki said. It's important that our money reflect the history and diversity of our country. So I think a lot of people look at that statement and say, oh yeah, that's true, right? It needs to be a reflection of our history and the diversity of our country, right? Just like I'm against taking down certain statues and things of that nature and trying to rewrite history, I think this is kind of the same thing, right? Taking Andrew Jackson off the $20 bill, which, I really don't care that much about. I just feel like it's just pointless. You're putting effort and resources into doing something that's ultimately not going to change anything. Okay? Having our money reflect history and diversity, what is that going to do for actual change in the black community or whatever minority communities that these people say they're trying to help? I don't know. I mean, is my money going to be worth more because Harriet Tubman is on the money? Right? Because if the money ain't going to be worth more if Harriet Tubman is on it, then what is it doing for me? And like I said, guys, the Democrats love this type of stuff because they can say, oh, here's a list of things that we done for the black community. We put Harriet on the $20 bill. And I know a lot of people, and this is a joke, purely a joke, that don't want Harriet on the $20 bill because they want to find somebody they think looks a little better than Harriet, right? Or at least use a cooler picture of Harriet than what they've currently been proposing. Okay? So, and there's also the argument that, they're putting somebody up there that was a slave and, reminding, black people of slavery. But again, those are numerous arguments as to why certain, black people may not necessarily want this to happen. Me personally, I personally don't care, but just don't act like you're doing something for me. A Treasury spokeswoman said that she had no information to share on when a new design of the $20 bill might be released. Trump professed to be a fan of Andrew Jackson, a fellow populist, and was a fierce opponent of altering historical images and statues. just like me. I don't think you should do so. You should build on history, not rewrite history. There's a difference. Mr. Mnuchin's decision to slow walk the change drew backlash from some Democrats in Congress and triggered a probe from the Treasury Inspector General about whether the process faced improper political interference. The inquiry found no wrongdoing by Mr. Mnuchin. Under Mr. Liu's plan, the new design was proposed to be unveiled in 2020 on the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote. Preliminary designs of the note that were obtained by the New York Times revealed that before Mr. Trump took office, conceptual work on a bill bearing Tubman's likeness on the front and a statue of Jackson on the back was already underway. Okay, so, I mean, they got a statue of Jackson on the back and Harriet Tubman on the front. I mean, I guess, right? Like, it's okay. I mean, again, this type of stuff, you know, a lot of people on the left are asking for reparations. And I keep telling people, man, like, the people that ask for reparations, I'm like, you're never going to get reparations, okay? Because it is not politically viable. They'll dangle it out there. The Democrats will dangle it out there. That's why they say, let's study reparations. They don't ever propose any real plan. The plan is always to study the plan. That's the real plan. The plan is to study for a potential plan. Okay? And this is the closest thing that a lot of people are going to get to reparations. This is the Democrats' idea of reparations. Apparently, Trump's idea of reparations was jobs, right? That's what the Platinum Plan was. It was for jobs, mainly through infrastructure, right? Like, that was Trump's thing. And remember, guys, I'm not necessarily for reparations, but I'm not super against it. I don't blame people who want reparations, right, and think that they, you know, deserve reparations or whatever, right? Especially when it comes to, like, you know, cash reparations, like direct payment. I think that there was a strong argument for it back during Reconstruction. However, in today's political environment, you know, 2021, I just don't see a practical argument for it, and I haven't really heard a practical argument for it. I mean, I've heard a lot of, you know, legal arguments for it and moral arguments for it, but I haven't heard a real practical argument for it at this point. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people shouldn't, you know, fight for it or whatever. It's just that you should understand that, you know, the Democrats, this is their idea of reparations, right? I mean, I guess this technically would be cash reparations, right? Putting black faces on money. But I'm pretty sure this is not what most people who want reparations had in mind, which a lot of people are looking at this like, what is this? We wanted reparations and we got Harriet Tubman on the bill. So who knows, man? I just don't think this is really a political environment that would allow something like reparations to actually happen. Regardless, what I do know is that the Democrats are going to continue to come with empty gestures like this in order to try to appease people in the black community and to try to act like they're making change when they're really going about business as usual. Typical Democrat playbook. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.